My video for February the 8th, 2019 is video number 2900. And that's not true. It's 2,990. I was going to say it looked like 900, but it's a 9, not a 0. Anyway, the title is Spirituality Includes Politics and Religion. To me, there are two very important subjects that explore the problems we face as humans. And they are both kept under wraps when we are told we are not to talk about either. Yes, politics and religion are major areas of human polarization. Of course, money is behind both. As I've shared in other videos, money was the means of enslaving humans while making us believe we are free. In case you haven't noticed, we are not free from war. And those who do not want us to talk about these taboo subjects rely on our ignorance to maintain their illusion of power and control. We've all been conned by the charade. Just look at what recently came out about John of God. And I have come out. That's not the right word. I better fix it because it's a correct word, but not the right one. How many children were his victims? Lots. Yet that's just the tip of the iceberg. Insanity runs rampant in human culture, with the elite establishment being the most insane of all. That's the root of the problem we face. Our leaders do not want us to know the truth. Some ask, Ron, what's the solution? Spirituality. No, that's not another word for religion, even though many religious people use it as a synonym for religion. Spirituality does not divide. It is all inclusive. Of course, the brainwashing is extensive and pervasive. Everyone has been afflicted. Any real change will involve a rude awakening, which I hope is possible. Where to begin? Well, let me start here. I have several topics on a list of potential subjects for my videos. And yet it all comes back to politics and religion. It all comes back to an awakening. When I'm speaking in quote, spiritual groups, I'm often admonished not to bring up subjects that are controversial. I'm not supposed to talk about the very things that are the most important things to talk about. That's how effective and pervasive the brainwashing has been. People don't want to get people to think outside the box. Now, I belong to some discussion groups where we're allowed to talk about anything. And I like that. And even though there are very different opinions expressed in those discussion groups, nobody attacks other people and says, no, you're wrong. Well, sometimes some people border on that, but it's usually brought back into a moderation that allows us to explore where people are coming from, because we're all coming from positions based on our own experience and the things that we've been told and learned in our lives. It's inevitable that that's going to happen. Now, the deception, like with John of God, I mean, I was flabbergasted. I know people that have gone to South America to John of God's thing, and there's people in the local metaphysical community that have praised him. And of course, he was on Oprah, and Oprah praised him, and many other people were on Oprah, and yet she has some shadowy situations in her past that make me scratch my head and wonder, even though I've always admired her very much and thought that she was at least somewhat of a truth teller. But this John of God thing really blew me away, again, because I know people that have made that pilgrimage to South America and have been involved in at least some of the healing services. And yet he was part of the pedophile ring, supplying children to the elite establishment. And what is it about the elite establishment? I mean, I watched a video recently of Hillary Clinton and how, you know, she's basically on machines. She collapsed, you know, within a few months of the previous election, not the current one that just happened, but the one that happened a couple of years back in 2016. She was basically immobilized. And I mean, it's another eye-opening thing. Now, what is true? What is the truth? I mean, the truth to me is that we have been enslaved. The truth to me is that we have been told not to bring up subjects that might lead to our liberation if we only knew the frightening and disheartening truth that those that seem to be the most prestigious in our culture are often the ones that have been most compromised, not the ones that are shining examples of truth and love and even charity. You know, they may talk about charity, but we came, they died. What difference does it make? Of course, I'm quoting Hillary again. I've quoted her many, many times. That shows the pathology of the mindset, not just of Hillary, but of so many in the establishment. And it's not a US problem, it's a global problem. It happens all over the world. So I very much want people to be able to explore. And why are they trying to shut down alternative media? Because the mainstream media is being exposed and losing viewership. But most of the mainstream channels, people aren't watching them in the numbers that they used to. And the alternative media, in many cases, is gaining, although they keep taking away, the establishment keeps taking away the viewership and shutting down stations that are the most successful, that would tell people truths that are uncomfortable for the elite. The elite folks are the problem. And I'll go one step further. The elite are at least influenced greatly by demonic elements that do not and never have had humanity's interest at heart. I can't get away from this because this is the issue we face. And yes, the world will be destroyed once again. I know I've said that so many times. If we don't fully wake up, thankfully, many are waking up, but it's still far from being a majority. And it's still kept under wraps by the established leaders, if you will, which are not leaders. They're leaders, but they're leading us down a path of destruction. As Barry Maguire says, on the eve of destruction. And are we on the eve of destruction? Well, we've been on the eve of destruction for a long time, and there is geological evidence, as I keep saying, that the world has been destroyed at least 4 times in the past. Will the 5th one also be destroyed? I want to believe that our Creator is finally going to bring in the reinforcements necessary to shift the reality so that we can know the truth. And even if it pisses us off, ultimately we can be set free and we can learn that religion and politics divide. They do not unify. May the world and the time come when we don't need walls, when we don't need barriers to protect ourselves, where we are free because everyone respects everyone else's freedom. That's what we need. I hope that's where we're going. I hope our Creator helps bring that about. Thank you for listening, and namaste.